Here we go. Let's do better. Here we go. As soon as you're open, your man helps it off. That's the catch and shoot. You gotta be ready. Work, work, work.
And bring the lights up again at GCU Arena as your GCU Lopes women's basketball team continue their quest to try and snap their 3-game losing skid as they host the second half of the GCU Thanksgiving Showdown as they take on the Blackbirds of Long Island University from Brooklyn. Good afternoon, everybody. Jim Howe welcoming you to the heart of Phoenix and GCU women's basketball for the second time in as many days. And the Lopes have a lot of things to smile about despite the fact they are still coming into today looking for their first victory of this showdown, because yesterday they had a thriller and then some. 40 minutes wasn't enough, 45 minutes wasn't enough. With Indiana State, they went to double overtime with the Sycamores before they ran out of gas and lost 88-81. But still, a lot of things for second-year head coach Nicole Powell to be pleased about, including the balance that they had offensively. Despite the fact that their leading scorer going into the game, Ven Laveras, spent much of that game on the bench in foul trouble. But Lauda Pieta took over, along with big performances from Sharon Miller, Taylor Caldwell, and in her first game as a Lope this year, Taylor Howard. All of them were in double figures, and all of them executed well until the Lopes failed to be able to make their free throws down the stretch. Let's go ahead and send it over to our PA announcer, Doc Winiger, for the anthem and invocation.
Let's pray. Father in heaven, we thank you for this opportunity today to come together and enjoy this competition among friends and family. We pray that you be with the players and the refs and everyone involved, that you would just protect them from injury so that they may perform to the best of their abilities. And we pray for us as we enjoy this game that we would just create a space here where everyone is respected and above all that you are honored. We pray all these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
And now, fans, please remain standing as we honor America with our national anthem. The Star-Spangled Banner will be performed this afternoon by the GCU Thundering Herd Pep Band under the direction of Paul Cook and today his associate, Vanessa Smith. And now, let's meet the players and coaches competing in today's game. First for the visiting team, the LIU Brooklyn Blackbirds. A 5'10 guard, number 0, Jada Johnson. A 5'8 guard, number 4, Camille Gray. A 5'8 guard, number 5, Tia Montaigne. A 6'1 forward, number 12, Ella Votnin. And a 5'10 guard, number 15, Brandy Thomas. Head coach for the Blackbirds is Stephanie Del Priore, assisted by Tim Gardner and Angele Barrett. And now the starting lineup for your GCU Antelope. At guard, a 5'5" senior from Balai, India, number 4, Kavita Akula. The point guard, a 5'9" freshman from Barcelona, Spain, number 5, Laura Piera. At forward, a 6'2" freshman from Barcelona, Spain, number 12, Carla Balagay. At guard, a 5'11" freshman from Vanta, Finland, number 21, Venla Veras. And at center, a 6' senior from Blaine, Minnesota, number 53, Sharon Miller. Head coach for the Lopes is Nicole Powell, assisted by Nikki Blue, Taylor High, and Brad Langston.
So there are your lineups, and they are brought to you by Dignity Health. Once again, a guard alignment for both of them. For LIU, they go with 4 guards. Ella Vatanen is in the middle, and surrounding her, Camille Gray, Jada Johnson, the point guard, Tia Montaigne, and their leading scorer, Brandy Thomas. And for the Lopes, who come in with a record of 1-3, they have the 3-guard alignment of Laura Pieta at point guard, Ben Laberis and Kavita Akula, Carla Balagay, and Sharon Miller up front. Let's quickly get to our 3 keys to the game, brought to you by Sanderson Ford. And for these two teams, it is slow starts aplenty that they have had. We'll talk more about in a minute as the opening tap is tipped to the side, comes out of bounds, and it's last touched by the Lopes. So LIU will gain possession, and they will move from right to left across your GCU TV screen here in this first half. Tia Montaigne, as the Lopes wearing their purple uniforms trimmed in white today. Kind of a switch from the last couple of home games. Here's a hook pass inside. Turnaround jumper is up and good, and Brandy Thomas, their leading scorer, off and running to give LIU a 2-0 lead. As we mentioned, the Lopes in their purple trimmed in white. LIU in their white uniforms trimmed in black and gray. Pieta sees daylight start to drive, and as she tried to pass off, she took the extra step and is called for the traveling violation. LIU has become infamous in their first 5 games for slow starts. Now, you wouldn't know that if you watched the game against UC Irvine in the first game of the showdown yesterday. Thomas's shot from straight away, not good, from about 14 feet, and the Lopes come down with a chance to get on the scoreboard first. We're still in the first minute. Nice lob in. Balagay fumbles, gets it back, now throws in the opposite corner. Veras will square and fire for 3. Venla Veras able to give GCU not only points on the board, but their first lead of the afternoon. It's 3-2 GCU. High post is Ella Vatanen. Vatanen, one of 4 players that was in double figures yesterday in the loss to UC Irvine, 84-71, that sent them to their 5th straight loss of the season, their 6th straight loss dating back to last March. Driving around is Tia Montaigne, gets it in the opposite corner. High arching shot by Camille Gray, not good. And the Lopes doing a good job so far of limiting the Blackbirds to just 1 shot each time down the floor. Akula, high post for Montaigne. Here's Miller out at the elbow. Open look for Akula for 3, but that one's off the front of the iron, not good. Rebound down to Jada Johnson. A 4-guard alignment for head coach Stephanie Del Priori, so a lot of people can bring the ball down whenever she wants them to. Brandy Thomas, who is their leading scorer and rebounder, trying to drive, can't find any room, gives it out to Vatanen for an open 3, but that's off the mark. And once again, GCU has the defensive board. Akula, outlet pass, cross court for Laura Pieta. Pieta, the native of Barcelona, Spain, comes around the screen of another Barcelona native. That's Carla Balagay. Akula backing up, coming around multiple screens by Miller, but the second one by Sharon, she was moving, and she'll be called for the offensive foul. Two and a half minutes gone by, and each team with just 1 field goal here in the early going. Final game of this 4-game set over 2 days for the GCU Thanksgiving Showdown. Both of these teams looking for their first win of the weekend. Shot by Camille Gray, or Jada Johnson is off the mark, and on the rebound scramble, a loose ball foul will be called. As they say, Carla Balagay stuck the hip out to try and get inside position. So 2 quick team fouls against the Lopes, and a fresh 30 on the shot clock for LIU. Thomas gets the inbound, give it out front for Gray. Gray looking inside, wanted to give it to Johnson, who was posting up, but she's covered well. Montaigne off for Vatanen. She'll drive on Balagay. Now stop the dribble. Give it to the cutting Johnson, and it's stolen away by Akula. Nice defensive hands by the native of India, Kavita Akula. Inside pass, Balagay fumbles, gets it back, fumbles it again, and then as she gets it back a second time, a reach-in foul will be called on Tia Montaigne. So Nicole Powell trying to get it into Balagay and get her established early on the low post. Carla just having trouble finding the handle. Fresh shot clock. And it's Veras looking to inbound on the baseline, does so to Pieta. Pieta has not looked for a shot yet. Lob inside, here's Miller. Start right, move left, and then on the double team, puts the shot up over Jada Johnson, but Johnson got there a step too late and gets her with the body. They'll give Sharon Miller the continuation. That'll give us a chance to show you the 3 Ks of the game, and they are brought to you by Sanderson Ford. First key is to be the rabbit, because the Lopes have been plagued by slow starts in the second half. LIU, with the exception of yesterday, plagued by slow starts in the first half. So if the Lopes can get established early and get off to a good lead, good things should happen, as Miller makes one of the 2 free throws. Second one is keep your balance. It was a very balanced offensive attack for Nicole Powell. She had to like that, considering she used only 8 players yesterday against Indiana State. She would love to see that kind of balance, especially with 4 players in double figures again. Jada Johnson drive inside, give it off for Thomas in the corner. Here's Vatanen, open look for 3, in and out and stays out, and Miller comes over to tip the rebound to herself. The final key to the game, it takes a thief. Coming into this tournament, GCU had just 6 steals in 3 games combined. They had 13 yesterday against the Sycamores, and there were a lot of good things that came out of that. Shot by Veras from 3-point range is off the front of the iron. Here comes LIU. Driving all the way inside. Montaigne with the left hand shot won't go. Tip back out to her. She'll kick in the corner. Gray's 3-pointer's off, and Vatanen comes in. So LIU will get a 3rd chance this time down the floor. That was a concern in the first half for GCU, allowing Indiana State to get a lot of second shots yesterday, but they were able to shore it up the rest of the game. Shot by Thomas won't go from about 15. Rebound tip to the baseline, and finally Lauda Pieta able to corral it for the Lopes. 4-2, GCU on top as we near the midpoint of this defensive struggle here in the first quarter. Veras, bounce pass for Miller. Miller moving inside. She'll put up the shot and get it. Miller, a very steady game yesterday. She had 15 points, and she came up big in the latter stages of the second half and overtime. She already has 3 of the 6 the Lopes have on the board here. Montaigne drove inside, but threw it off the back of the bottom of the backboard, and here comes Piera. Lopes don't have numbers. Piera starts to move it out and then finds an open look, but the shot's in and out from about 12 feet. Rebound down to Brooklyn. And Stephanie Del Priori not happy with the performance offensively so far, wants a timeout, so we will take one. 4:55 left to go here in quarter number 1. It's GCU 6, LIU Brooklyn 2. Keep it here for more coverage on GCU TV.
Into the net, destiny fulfilled. CSU Bakersfield wins the WAC Tournament Championship.
I don't know if this is a dream or real life, but we did it. We won the WAC championship. It's great.
Thunder in the heart of Phoenix. GCULopes.com.
Another slow start for the Blackbirds of LIU Brooklyn. In their 5 games combined, they have been outscored 83-50 in the first quarter. Now, yesterday was an aberration to that. They outscored UC Irvine 18-12, and they stayed with them for the first 3 quarters of the game before they got bombarded in the final quarter by the Anteaters. Anteaters outscored them 17-3. In the first 6 minutes of that fourth quarter to take control en route to an 84-71 win. LIU still looking for their first win of the campaign. They're 0-5, but Del Priore has to at least be pleased by the fact that they were able to put up 71 points and had 4 players in double figures. But so far a slow start, and let's see what they diagrammed in the huddle. They trail 6-2 and they have the basketball. Vatanen handoff. Here's Jada Johnson. She'll drive in, put it up with the right hand and get it. Johnson, who is the team's second leading scorer and one of only 2 that averages in double figures, the other being in Brandy Thomas, cuts that deficit in half at 6-4. Here is Taylor Caldwell out for Piera. Square and fire for 3, too hard. Rebound to the side, and Brandy Thomas will corral it. Caldwell, the 5'9" freshman out of Bakersfield. And Tia Montaigne able to sneak in and tie the ball game. First time we've been knotted up today at 6 apiece. And one of the few times that LIU was able to use transition. Pierre on the drive. That shot's not good off the glass. LIU on the break. Here's Vatanen going to the hoop, but that shot's too hard. Making her change it was Taylor Howard, and Taylor Caldwell able to come down with a board. So Del Priore, the 4-year head coach of LIU, saying, let's move the ball, let's get the transition going. And they've tied the ball game, so now the Lopes have to start getting that offense moving. Spin move by Balaguer, and she springs free all the way to the hoop for the scoop shot. It's good. First scoring by the native of Barcelona, Carla Balaguer. Lopes swing back out on top, 8-6, 3:20 left to go here in this first quarter. Thomas come around to screen. Kick it off for Johnson. Johnson wearing that black number 0 on the front of her white jersey, and as she drives, she's bumped and fouled. Team foul number 3 on the Lopes here in this quarter, and Taylor Caldwell will be whistled for the infraction. It'll be a non-shooting foul and a fresh shot clock as LIU will inbound it on the side. Nicole Powell wants to get Kavita Kula back into the lineup, and Lauda Pieta will get her first breather. Pieta coming off a 19-point performance, her season high, yesterday against Indiana State. But she's missed her first 3 shots so far, even though she's had good looks. And I don't think Nicole Powell's very worried about whether or not Pieta is going to get on track. I'm sure she knows she will. Here's Gray. Give it off for Johnson. Her shot's an air ball, and Caldwell will get it on the baseline. So the Lopes with a lineup of Akula, Taylor Howard, Taylor Caldwell, Carla Balaguer, and Ven Laveras. And as the pass intended for Akula, it's knocked out of bounds. Last touch by LIU's Camille Gray, and Akula will inbound it on the side. Still 20 on the shot clock. Both teams looking for any kind of offensive flow so far. Caldwell calls out a set play with 10 on the shot clock. Comes around to Balaguer's screen, keeps coming, and as she goes up, she's called for traveling. So here come the Blackbirds with a chance to tie again. Each team has led once each. Blackbirds scored the first bucket of the game, and GCU has maintained since. Here's Johnson inside for Thomas, posting up. She'll kick for Gray, and Gray with a quick head fake, but she picked up the foot before she put the ball on the floor, and that'll be an infraction on the travel. Clark Stevens leading this 3-person officiating crew, making the call. He's joined by Kimberly Hobbs and Dion Lewis. Caldwell Give it off for Taylor Howard. Covered out front by Vatanen. Now Caldwell start to drive. Double team, puts it up over the double team anyway. Doesn't matter. Gets it to go. Nice play by Taylor Caldwell. 10-6, Lopes on top. We're under 2 minutes here in this first quarter. Gray for Thomas. Thomas drive all the way in on Balagay, but her shot's too hard off the glass. Both teams pushing hard to drive to the basket, just not getting a lot of shots to fall. Here's Veras with the left hand. That one won't go, not necessarily the kind of shot she normally would take. Montaigne comes down for Brooklyn. Gives it to the trailer, Vatanen. Outside Johnson, she'll back up, fire a long three, but that's too hard. And Balagay able to retrieve the board. Both teams taking quick shots, but just not finding the range. And that's why we have only 16 points on the board in the first 9 minutes combined. Here's Veras. Veras seeing daylight. Nice pass inside. And there's Balagay as she'll score. Beautiful assist by Veras. And Balagay with her second bucket. And a 6-0 run by GCU has doubled it up on the Blackbirds. Final 45 seconds of this first quarter. And GCU starting to show signs of getting into the offensive flow. Thomas leaves it for Jada Johnson. Johnson now picked up by Taylor Howard. Out front is Montaigne. Shot clock at 7. Got to start moving. Lob inside. Vatanen was the intended receiver, but Caldwell anticipated well, knocked it away, made the steal. And now the Lopes can go for the final shot of the quarter with 16 seconds to do it. Nicole Powell, the second-year head coach, directing traffic. Game clock down to 8, now 7. Caldwell starts to move, comes around a screen, drives, kick in the corner. Here's Akula, out for Howard. She'll put up a running one-hander that won't go at the buzzer. Well, a defensive struggle here in the first 10 minutes, but the Lopes finish it off with 6 unanswered, and that's the difference as we head to the second period. End of 1 here in the final game of the GCU Thanksgiving Showdown here at GCU Arena. It's GCU 12. LIU Brooklyn 6. Keep it here for more coverage of Lopes women's basketball right here on GCU TV.
We have been the experts in clean since 1945. We help businesses keep their facilities cleaner, healthier, greener, and safer. We are passionate about what we do and are committed to making your workplace environment the cleanest and healthiest it can be.
Hi, I'm Brittany, and this is Ask GCU. Hi, I'm Brittany Holwyn, and you should watch Ask GCU,
where we answer your questions every week.
And the points don't matter. Wait, what?
Tune in every week for answers to be questioned.
Where we answer your questions in a common all right.
I'm a professional answer.
Tweet hashtag AskGCU to get your question featured.
Well, as you can imagine, as we begin the second quarter with GCU on top 12-6, the shooting percentage is not strong, but GCU finished with a flurry. They're shooting 42% from the field, 5 out of 12. And LIU Brooklyn getting a few second shots, but not making the most of them. They're shooting just 19% from the field. That's 3 out of 16, and so GCU has to be happy with the defense, considering that they only committed 3 fouls in that first quarter, and they held their ground on the interior when the Blackbirds were trying to drive. Well, fans, now you can enjoy coffee and tea from the Grand Canyon Beverage Company in your own home. GCBC's locally sourced coffee beans and fine teas are available online at lopeshops.gcu.edu/GCBC. Grand Canyon Beverage Company, it's GCBC. Lopes start off the second quarter with the basketball and a 6-point edge. Kavita Akula with the ball outside the arc, looking inside, can't find anybody. Taylor Howard off for Caldwell. Here's Balagay, sees daylight, and she'll go right around the defender for the easy 2. And Balagay has done that a couple of times. This time it was Kiara Bell who checked in during that last timeout. Got the first step, and Bell didn't stay with her. So it's an 8-0 run for the Lopes, and the lead is now 14-6. Out front is Shyla Sanford, who also checked in during that intermission. Jada Johnson starts to drive, sees daylight. A lot of purple jerseys around her, throws it up and won't go. And on the rebound, it goes out of bounds. Both Bell and Deja Daniel for GCU battling for it, and they say it last went off Brooklyn. So we'll set the lineups when we get a chance. A little bit of pressure defense, but the Lopes do a good job of breaking it. They saw plenty of that against Indiana State a day ago. Caldwell with 14 on the shot clock, comes around a screen, off for Taylor Howard. Howard now stop, open look from three. Taylor Howard able to pull the trigger, second time that the Lopes have found the range from behind the arc, and it's 17-6, Lopes on top. So the Blackbirds searching for any kind of offense. Montaigne trying to give it to him, but the 15-footer is off the mark, off the back of the iron, and Deja Daniel able to secure the rebound. Daniel, the 6'4" junior out of Killeen, Texas, now in the middle, giving Sharon Miller her first breather. Caldwell off for Balagay, way at the high post, drives on Vatanen, and as she does, Vatanen just trying to hand check and did it a little too much. She'll be called for the personal foul. That's her first. Stephanie Del Priori now starting to substitute after she kept her starting five in there for the entire first 10 minutes. Gets Ryan Weesey in, 5'8" freshman guard from Allentown, New Jersey. Lopes still with the basketball, and as Balagay set the pick for Caldwell, she didn't get stationary, and she'll be whistled for the foul, and that is her second. So LIU with a lineup of Kiara Bell, Shyla Sanford, Ryan Weesey, Jada Thomas, and Ella Vatanen. And it's Weesey who is running the point right now with Montaigne on the bench. Give it to Johnson, and she gets the first step on Akula and takes it the distance to snap the 11-0 run by GCU. 17-8. Now the Lopes have the lead. They want to maintain it. Caldwell sees daylight, but loses it in the air as she went up for the shot. And when she caught it on the way down, she was out of bounds. Brandy Thomas got a quick breather on the LIU bench. And the Blackbirds' leading scorer checks back in. She has just one field goal and 2 points so far. 2.5 minutes gone by here in this second quarter. Caldwell with a defensive assignment on Weesey. Out for Johnson. Johnson now finds Thomas, 15 on the shot clock. Weesey fires a three and gets it. She started to load up, was waiting for the defense to come. It didn't come, and so she fired away and made them pay. Here's Balagay, drive in the paint, and then reaching in is Thomas. And Balagay called for traveling. Well, Balagay has been feasting on the interior defense so far, trying to take advantage of another aggressive move, but that time took steps. And now Balagay will check out. Then Laveris will check back into the Lopes lineup. Low post. Sanford can't do anything with it. Give it to Weesey, who will, but the three-pointer won't go. Daniel has it taken away, but the shot put up by Bell won't go. Another second shot put up by LIU, and this time Bell gets it, but she's called for the traveling violation. Well, the Blackbirds are getting offensive rebounds. They're just not able to find the range when they do. Weesey trying to apply some full-court pressure defense in the backcourt. Akula wanting help, gets it to Caldwell. They get it to Veris across the line with 2 seconds to spare. Caldwell will back it out as they'll go into the half-court set with 13 on the Lopes shot clock. Caldwell spreading the floor, stop, doesn't want the shot, give it to Akula. She'll fire a three, that's off the mark. And Weesey with a rebound. LIU wants to run, they trail by 6. Weesey will stop outside and back it out. Caldwell staying with her. Weesey Now gets it off for Sanford. She'll fire the three. That one won't go. Inside rebound by Thomas. She'll follow and score. Another second shot. Nicole Powell has to be a bit concerned by that. The second shots haven't been falling so far for the Blackbirds, but starting to find the range. And after an 11-0 run by GCU, LIU's come back with 7 in a row until that. 3 by Taylor Howard. That's her second time finding the range from behind the arc. 20-13. Lopes back out on top by a touchdown. We near the midpoint of this second quarter. Hope you're enjoying it to wind up the GCU Thanksgiving Showdown. Johnson again coming free around a screen. Drove inside, couldn't get the shot to go, but got hacked on the arm. Deja Daniel, the guilty party. That's the second team foul of the quarter for the Lopes. That will send Johnson to the free throw line, and these will be the first free throws of the afternoon for Brooklyn. LIU out of the Northeast Conference. And most of their players staying home to play ball. First free throw is good by Johnson. Sharon Miller back into the lineup. But as you can imagine, most of their players hail from either New York, New Jersey, or Maryland. And Johnson, who hails from Randallstown in Maryland, makes them both. And now she'll check out as Tia Montaigne will check back in to take over the point guard duties, as once again the Lopes facing the pressure defense of LIU. Akula and Caldwell effectively advancing it into the front court. Here's an open look for Howard. Three-pointer won't go. Miller keeping it alive, comes to the side, but Weesey reels it in for Brooklyn. Cross-court pass for Shyla Sanford. Back out for Weesey. Varys with a size advantage on Sanford, covering her closely. Out front is Kiara Bell. Montaigne comes around a screen, springs free. Nobody stays with her, but she misses the lay-in. And LIU has missed a ton of shots at close range. Past the midpoint of this second quarter, GCU trying to build on a 5-point lead. They've only trailed once. That was back at 2-0. Caldwell will lob out front. Now inside for Miller. Turns, faces the hoop. Fires it from 8. That one off the mark. Won't go. Howard goes down underneath. And LIU comes down momentarily with numbers. Montaigne, low block for Bell. Puts it up over Miller. Too hard. Inside, Montaigne sneaks in. Make that Thomas. Gets the offensive board and follows and scores again. Well, Thomas is not only this team's leading scorer, she averages a double-double. Nearly 15 points and 13 boards a game. And she proved that yesterday in the loss to UCI. She had 19 points and 16 boards. Howard on the baseline drive loses the handle, and as she saves it, it's taken away by Brandy Thomas. It's a Brooklyn steal. They come down with a chance to possibly tie with a 3. Montaigne will slow it up momentarily. Wants Bell to come out front. Goes towards that side. Akula staying inside the three-point line to cover. Springing out is Sanford, left alone. Three-pointer won't go. Rebound, bounded around, and Bell has it, but she also is laying on the out-of-bounds line. Both of these teams still kind of getting into that offensive rhythm. And a timeout called. We will step aside. 3:28 left to go before halftime. It's GCU 20. LIU Brooklyn 17. Keep it here for Lopes Women's Basketball right here on GCU TV.
Our armed forces' heroism, courage, and bravery give greater meaning to what it is to be an American. Grand Canyon University honors you and pays tribute to you and your family. As a community, GCU celebrates your service, your sacrifice, and your commitment. God bless all the brave men and women who put our country first. We want to do the same for you. GCU puts you first with its flexible and convenient online degree programs. We salute you and thank you for your service.
Thunder in the heart of Phoenix. GCULopes.com.
Well, both teams still struggling from the field. The Lopes shooting 42% from the field, and LIU shooting a little bit better than they did in that first quarter, up to 24%. That has to be good news for Nicole Powell and the Lopes. The bad news is LIU already has 19 rebounds, and 9 of them are on the offensive side. Brandy Thomas has been the main beneficiary of that. 4 of her 6 points have been on follow-up shots, and she has 3 of those offensive rebounds and already has 7 boards total. So you know Nicole Powell in the GCU huddle telling them you got to start boxing out on those second opportunities. Carla Balagay reinserted into the lineup, likely for that exact purpose. Caldwell will get it across the line, and now trapping defense employed by LIU. Akula trying to play keep away from Shyla Sanford. Give it to Caldwell. Shot clock's at 12. Game clock at 3:10 left to go in the second quarter. Here's Caldwell. Open look. 14-footer. Bounce around. Won't go. And it's Destiny Willock, who just checked in, the native of Toronto, Ontario, Canada, that gets the rebound, and on the other end gets her first bucket. So Destiny Willock makes it a 1-point game. Here's Miller, and Willock was going for the steal on that lob pass. Got there just a step late, and she'll be whistled for the personal foul. Only the second team foul of the quarter on LIU, so a non-shooting foul. Nicole Powell putting a lineup on the floor wearing purple of Ven Laveris, Carla Balagay, Sharon Miller, Kavita Akula, and Taylor Caldwell. Three-pointer by Veris won't go. Veris made her first two from three-point range yesterday. Now Vatanen, open look on the baseline. She can't get it to go. Vatanen still looking for her first points. GCU clinging to a 1-point lead. They've led by as many as 11. Nearing the 2-minute mark of this second quarter. Balagay sets a screen, goes inside. Here's Miller inching across, puts it up, puts it in. And if Miller has that going, there really isn't anybody on the Brooklyn roster that's going to be able to stay with her. Long pass, Weesey alone, three-pointer won't go. Willock, right place, right time for the offensive board, and once again, LIU will get a second shot, this time down the floor. 10 offensive rebounds by the Blackbirds. Here's Sanford, double teamed at the free throw line, off for Montaigne. Montaigne, stop at the free throw line, inside for Vatanen, start right, spin left, bank shot good, and finally, the native of Tuusula, Finland, able to get in the scoring column, and the lead for the Lopes back to a slim point. Pressure defense continuing to be maintained by Brooklyn. Akula rifles a pass to Caldwell outside the left arc. Minute 20 left to go. And GCU trying to head into the halftime locker room with the cushion. Shot clock at 5, now 4. Caldwell on the drive, springs free, all the way to the hoop for 2. Caldwell had to work for it, but just kept on finding the place for the open hole. And there was no second line of defense as she got the lay-in. Inside of a minute, 24-21. Vatanen for the tie. Three-pointer won't go. Balagay had the rebound, then goes down on the side of the foot of Tia Montaigne, loses the ball, and now Weesey with the three. That one won't go. Balagay still limping noticeably as she comes to the offensive side of the floor. So GCU dodging a couple of bullets that time. And as we near the 30-second mark, Caldwell into the attacking zone. From 15, got it. Sanford trying to fight around the screen, went down in the lane. That left Caldwell alone. Back-to-back buckets for the Bakersfield High School alum. And now LIU can go for the final shot of the half with 13 seconds. Montaigne taking her time. Goes to the right side with the screen. Kicks out for Vatanen. Vatanen drives right around Balagay, throws it up off the glass, won't go. Rebound to the side, 2 seconds, 1 second. Caldwell able to save it and ensure that LIU Brooklyn doesn't get another shot before the end of the half. So GCU leads all but the first bucket of the first 20 minutes of this ball game. and they will take a 5-point cushion into the halftime locker room as they try and snap a 3-game losing skid. Well, again, as we had talked about most of this half, shooting struggles abound, but GCU able to get the shots when they needed them, and if Nicole Powell can go into the halftime locker room and devise a plan to stop the offensive rebounding prowess of LIU Brooklyn, considering that GCU has so far maintained the lead anywhere between 5 and 11 points, then they should be okay. And just like yesterday, plenty of balance for Powell's Lopes. She's used 8 players, and 5 of them have scored. Taylor Howard and Taylor Caldwell really giving the Lopes a spark off the bench, each with 6 points. Howard doing it the 3-point route, and Caldwell doing it with a lot of drives to the hoop. Balagay also joining him at the 6-point plateau, and Sharon Miller with 5. Ven Laveris, the only other one in the scoring column, with 3 points. Lauda Pierre coming off that 19-point performance yesterday against Indiana State. Not able to find the range, missing all 3 of her attempts. Wound up playing only 6 minutes in the ball game and sat much of that second quarter. And it was not necessarily anything she did wrong. It was the fact that Caldwell and Howard were producing off the bench. Conversely, on the LIU side, Brandy Thomas and Jada Johnson, who are their leading scorers on the season, leading here. They each have 6 points. But again, it was cold shooting in that first quarter by LIU. They shot 19% in the first quarter and only 30% in the second quarter. They are 9 of 36 as they go into the halftime locker room. That's 25%. And the Lopes being able to fire from short range in the latter stages of that second quarter, able to bring their field goal average up to 46%. That's 11 of 24. But LIU getting 12 more shots on the half. Want to remind you that after today, the Lopes women's team will be back out on the road a week from tomorrow. That's Sunday afternoon, December the 2nd. They'll head to the Golden State and take on the Gauchos of the University of California, Santa Barbara at 3 p.m. Their next home matchup happens 2 weeks from yesterday. That is Friday night, December the 7th. They'll host the Montana Grizzlies in a 6 p.m. tilt right here at GCU Arena. We hope you'll make your plans to be with us either in person or right here on GCU TV. Speaking of basketball and speaking of California, second day of the Wooden Classic is come and gone for the Lopes men's basketball team. And not able to overcome an early deficit, the Lopes fell behind by as many as 16 points to the Utes of Utah yesterday. They never led but continued to rally throughout the game and just ran out of time as they lost 75-66 to the Utes. Alessandro Lever leading the way with 16 points last night in Fullerton. Tim Finke, with his first start as a Lope, pitched in 14. And Dan Marley's Lopes will have one more try to get one win in Fullerton, and that'll come tomorrow night. 6 p.m. tip-off against LaSalle. And you can catch that game on the radio at 1580 The Fanatic with the radio voice of your Lopes, Michael Potter. Again, that's tomorrow night at 6. The Lopes' next home game will be a week from tonight right here at GCU Arena. They'll take on Boise State starting at 7 o'clock. Saturday, December 1st. You can catch that right here on GCU TV, Your View, ESPN3, and 1580 The Fanatic. So we'll take a break, and we will get ready for half number 2 and the final half of this 4-game, 2-day showdown known as the GCU Thanksgiving Showdown. GCU on top of LIU Brooklyn 26-21, and we'll be back with the second half after this. You are watching GCU TV. Jim Howe back here at GCU Arena, winding up the GCU Thanksgiving Showdown. 4 games in the span of 2 days. UC Irvine already completing their 2 games, and they finished undefeated. These 2 teams, one of them will get their first win of the showdown by the end of this. And for the moment, after 20 minutes, GCU holding on to a 5-point lead. And let's take a look at our 3 keys to the game, brought to you by Sanderson Ford, that we touched on at the beginning of the game. The first one, be the rabbit. And what we mean by that is these 2 teams have been plagued by slow starts at different times during their first couple of weeks of the season. For LIU Brooklyn, it's normally in the first half, and that was certainly indicative. They had just 2 points in the first 5 minutes of the ball game. And if GCU could have gotten a quicker start, that obviously would have set the tone. Well, it did. They had an 11-0 run. They led by as many as 11 before LIU came back. Now, GCU has to concentrate on making sure that they don't have a second half start that is a drought, because that has been a problem for them, at least until yesterday when they were strong against Indiana State in the third quarter. Second key, keep your balance, and they have certainly done that if you are wearing purple. They had great balance against Indiana State offensively, where Nicole Powell used 8 players and 6 of them scored 8 points or more. And right now she's used 8 players, and she has 3 with 6, Balagay, Caldwell, and Howard, and Sharon Miller with 5. Laura Pieta has not scored, but she's played only 6 minutes, and you would expect that she will get off and running here in this third quarter. And finally, it takes a thief. Coming into this tournament, Nicole Powell's Lopes had just 6 steals combined in the first 3 games. Yesterday, they undid that. They had 13 steals against Indiana State, and with almost all of them, they resulted in points. They have only 2 steals here in this first half, so now they need to try and see if they can get a little bit more sticky in the passing lanes. And LIU will start it off with the ball here in the second half and almost threw it away as Jada Johnson retrieves the loose ball in the corner. Shot clock at 16, pass inside, knocked away, retrieved again, and still 10 seconds to get a shot off for the Blackbirds. Montaigne around the screen, covered by Veras. Now for Vatanen. Vatanen in the corner. Camille Gray will stop. Has it knocked away, gets it back. Shot clock at 1. Vatanen gets it off, but it's an air ball. And Sharon Miller able to get the rebound. Great defensive set to start off the second half by the Lopes. Laura Pieta for Akula. She is wide open for 3. And Akula finding the range and getting in the scoring column. That is the 4th tray of the afternoon for GCU. And it's an 8-point lead. They've led by as many as 11. In the corner is Camille Gray. She was quiet, didn't play all of the second quarter, and still looking for her first points and doesn't get them there as that shot is short. Veras had the inside position, boxed out on Brandy Thomas to get the board, and then Thomas reached around to pick up the foul. That's Thomas's first foul of the ball game, and she's going to check out of the lineup as Kiara Bell will be brought in by 4-year head coach Stephanie Del Priore, the former Seton Hall assistant coach. Here's Veras with the ball out front, hounded by Montaigne. Lob inside, Bell gets a hand on it, intended for Balagay, and LIU comes up with the steal. Montaigne will push the ball down the left side. Met at the free throw line by Veras. To the trailer, Johnson. Open look, straight away 3. Bound around and off. And 2 different LIU players fighting with each other for the rebound. And they knock it out of bounds. GCU with the same 5 that started the game. Laura Pieta, Kavita Akula, Ven Laveras, Sharon Miller, and Carla Balagay. LIU ran a somewhat effective full-court pressure defense in that second quarter. Tried to employ it here again, but the Lopes in control. Miller at the high post with 10 on the shot clock off for Pieta. Now Balagay, lob over the top. Miller very low, turns around, puts up the shot, won't go. She was double teamed, so take your pick. Vatanen or Johnson, the guilty party. It'll be Jada Johnson that gets whistled for the personal, and that'll send Sharon Miller to the line. And so far, she's been the only Lope to go to the line today. She was 1 for 2 in that first half. Free throws not a factor on either side. Each team went to the line twice. Miller makes the first. And she can try and extend this lead to double digits for the second time today if she can convert here. Free throw good. Sharon now leading the way with 7 points. And it's 31-21. Lopes on top. We played a little over 2 minutes here in quarter number 3. Driving all the way inside is Johnson. Off for Gray outside. Back for Johnson. Covered by Miller in a switch. Bell calling for the ball. They can't get it to her. Now Montaigne waits for a screen. Covered by Akula. Shot clock at 5. Johnson has to hurry. Drives on Miller. And a whistle and a foul. Only 4 seconds on the shot clock when Miller is called for the block. Second personal foul on the Lopes starting center. And they say Johnson was in the act of shooting, so they'll send her to the free throw line. Johnson, second leading free throw shooter on the team at 73%. And like Miller for the Lopes, has been the only one that has shot free throws today. Perfect 3 for 3 after the first one, and now 4 for 4 as she converts. Veras with the ball outside the right arc, start to drive. Kick in the corner, Akula, another open look for 3! Back-to-back trays by Akula. And suddenly, it's a 34-22 edge. Here's Vatanen, over to Johnson, head fake, springs free from Akula, nice pass inside, but Bell can't get the shot in the lane, and Balagay fighting with Bell, tips it over to Miller. Miller at the high post, and Piera fighting to get the ball. And a little over-aggressive defense out on the perimeter by Gray will cost her her first personal. Taylor Caldwell, who gave them some Yeoman minutes off the bench, will check in for the Lopes for Lauda Pieta. And Gray will check out of the LIU lineup for Shyla Sanford. Non-shooting foul, and Caldwell will get the inbound on the side. 3.5 minutes gone by in quarter number 3. GCU with their largest lead of the day. Caldwell being hounded by Sanford. Off for Veras. They would love for Venla to get on track. Veras has just 1 field goal. That was early in the ball game. Shot clock at 10 as Caldwell resets. Now to 7, now 6. Caldwell spreading the floor. Waits for a Miller screen. She's going to have to fire something. Give it to Akula. A long 3. Misses everything, and that'll be a 30-second shot clock violation. And Nicole Powell saying 2 words to her charges, calm down. Powell, the former star at Mountain Point High School in Phoenix, and of course, former Stanford Cardinal great. In her second year at the helm of this Lopes women's basketball program. Montaigne with 10 on the shot clock will start again. Comes around a screen, can't shed Akula, give it to Vatanen, drives around Balagay. Scoop shot won't go, but Miller hacked her on the arm. And that'll be 3 personals on the Lopes starting center. So very quickly, Powell will get Deja Daniel up off the bench. She and Taylor Howard set to check in after Vatanen heads to the line. Ella, the native of Finland, went to the Helsinki Basketball Academy during her high school days. Misses her first free throw, and she's been a member of the Finland national team for the last 2 years. Daniel and Howard in, and the starting front line of Balagay and Miller heading to the bench. Vatanen's next free throw is good. 34-23. Good start to this second half by the Lopes, and it's benefited them in their largest lead of the day. Out front, Howard. Now for Veras. Swinging around for Caldwell, around a Daniel screen, and that's going to be an offensive foul as Daniel stuck the hip out, realizing that the defender was going to be able to fight around it. And so now Daniel has picked up 2 personals. And as we near the midpoint of this third quarter, fouls not quite a factor for Nicole Powell, but she at least has to be wary as her front liners all with 2 fouls or more. Sanford way out front for Vatanen. Now here's Jada Johnson. Drive, stop and pop in the lane and get it from 10 feet. Johnson now in double figures with 10 points. But LIU still struggling from the field. 9-point Lopes Edge. Open look, Caldwell from the free throw line, buries the jumper, and Caldwell looking very smooth today. Taylor now 4 for 6 from the field and has 8 points off the Lopes bench. 36-25, GCU more than happy to trade buckets with the Blackbirds. Montaigne yo-yoing the ball out front. Johnson comes out to get it. Varys with a hand in her face. Johnson waiting for a screen. She'll fire it from 15. That one high off the back of the rim and gets the shooter's roll as it drops through. Back-to-back hoops for Johnson, and Stephanie Del Priore will call a quick timeout for LIU. 4:16 left to go, third quarter, and it's GCU by 9. It's the Lopes 36, LIU Brooklyn 27. Keep it here for more exciting Lopes women's basketball right here on GCU TV.
Performance is your profession. You excel in bringing the best out of people. Through leadership and insight, you help others fulfill their promise. You share a unique bond with your family and cherish your time together. But you strive to take the next step in your career. GCU's online degree program in performance psychology will enhance your skills in helping others succeed. Master your craft in an online PhD program that puts innovation and technology at the heart of education. And you can do it all within a tight schedule without disrupting other aspects of your life. With a PhD in performance psychology, you'll have the tools you need to elevate your performance to the next level. When human excellence meets cutting-edge technology, business advances.
Find your purpose at GCU, where advanced technologies drive education. Private, Christian, affordable, nonprofit. Visit gcu.edu/.
Friday, December 7th. That is the next home game for your Lopes women's basketball team. It happens right here at GCU Arena with a 6 p.m. tip-off. They'll take on the Grizzlies of the University of Montana. We hope you'll be out here wearing your purple and cheering on your Lopes, and we also hope you'll be out here a week from tonight. That's Saturday night, December 1st. That's when your Lopes men's basketball team returns to GCU Arena and brings the Havocs with them. Boise State comes to town. You can catch it right here on GCU TV as well. Well, so far, the Lopes have led by as many as 12. That was just a couple of minutes ago. LIU's only lead was 2-0. And the Blackbirds have been plagued by cold shooting all game long. They're only shooting 26% from the field, and GCU has doubled that figure themselves, 52%. LIU getting 15 more extra shots than the Lopes, courtesy of 10 offensive boards. Lopes with the ball here, leading by 9 as we near the 4-minute mark. Jim Howe, hoping you're enjoying the final game of the GCU Thanksgiving Showdown. Here's Caldwell. Tried to lob it inside for Balagay, but Bell anticipated, makes the steal. Montaigne, full head of steam all the way in, forces up the shot, won't go. Late whistle. Caldwell got part of the ball. And apparently it was just an out of bounds that LIU will have, but a timeout on the floor, so we'll step aside. 3:55 left to go here in quarter number 3. Still a 9-point GCU edge. 36-27 over LIU Brooklyn right here on GCU TV.
State Credit Union, a local credit union serving the Valley for over 65 years, can assist you in buying your first home, refinancing your current home, or if you're dreaming of a retirement home. Canyon State Credit Union can provide you with a fast and affordable solution that meets your needs. Let Canyon State Credit Union run the numbers on your dream. Visit canyonstatecu.org or call 623-580-6015 for more information. Canyon State Credit Union, committed to you. We do business in accordance with the Equal Credit Opportunity Act, MLS number 410376.
You use the latest technology to treat patients, but your care and compassion is timeless. Advancing your career means helping more patients and providing even more care. Grand Canyon University's online programs in nursing make it convenient for you to become the expert every patient deserves.
Find your purpose at GCU, where advanced technologies drive education. Private, Christian, affordable, and nonprofit. Visit gcu.edu.
Back here at GCU Arena, final game of the GCU Thanksgiving Showdown, and Nicole Powell, for the third straight game, having to go with a short rotation. She has 13 players on the roster, but she's only been able to go with 8 players the last couple of games due to injury. A.J. Cephas missing her third straight game with a concussion. And Janeba Horquez, Kennedy Shorts, Destiny Arvinger, and Camille Haley also on the bench in street clothes, but every single one of the 8 that she has used has contributed in some way. And as a result, they've got a 36-27 edge. LIU will have the ball with 24 on the shot clock. 3:55 left to go in the third quarter, trailing 36-27. And here is Seneca Richards making her first appearance. Gets it inside for Johnson. Her shot won't go. And a nice play by Pieta. Tap dancing on the baseline to save it from going out of bounds. And the Lopes will get the ball as a result. Pieta running the point. Off for Taylor Howard. Howard dribbling to the right side, comes around a Balagay's screen, and as she starts to drive, Bell switched over defensively, but couldn't get out of the way, bangs into Howard and picks up the foul. So it'll be a non-shooting foul, and Howard will inbound with a fresh shot clock to the right of her own basket. Throws it out front for Laura Pieta. Pieta still looking for her first points of the day. Able to shed Montaigne. Nice pass cross court. Caldwell, three-pointer in and out. Rebound tipped around. Montaigne's got it. Montaigne racing down the middle of the floor. Give it off for Johnson. Johnson wanted to spin but couldn't control the ball on Caldwell. Has to bring it back out front. They'll go into the half-court set. Here is Seneca Richards. Homecoming of sorts for Richards. We'll talk more about that in a minute. Johnson behind the back dribble. Couldn't shed Caldwell. Caldwell stayed with her, but as she goes up for the shot, Taylor gets her on the arm. Second personal foul on Caldwell. That is now 4 team fouls on each team. And Johnson fouled in the act of shooting. Will head to the stripe. Richards wearing number 20 for LIU Brooklyn. Coming back home as Johnson makes her first free throw. She was a 4-year letterman on the basketball team at Red Mountain High School. She also played a year of varsity volleyball for the Mountain Lions. Originally born in Ontario, Canada, and now making her first appearance on the floor for LIU. 1 of 2 free throws made by Johnson. Pieta with the ball out front for GCU. Comes around Johnson, and Johnson reached in and will pick up her third personal foul. She's the first LIU Brooklyn player to hit that plateau. And that will put GCU in the bonus for the remaining 2 minutes and 37 seconds of the quarter. So Pieta to the free throw line. And finally able to get in the scoring column as she makes the first free throw. Johnson will have to head to the bench with those 3 personal fouls, and Ryan Weesey will make her first appearance in the second half for Brooklyn. Pieta's next free throw, that's not good, and Brandy Thomas comes down with a rebound. GCU, who had been plagued by slow starts to start the second half in their first 3 games, no such problems here at home in this showdown. Three-pointer by Montaigne, not good. Rebound bounded around, goes to the floor, and Bell scoops it up. Another second opportunity to score for LIU. That has been a problem for GCU all day. Thomas outside the stripe, wants somebody to move. Nobody does, so she decides to. Puts it up over Howard. Shot doesn't go, but a whistle and a foul, and Thomas will head to the free throw line for the first time. That puts GCU over the team foul limit with 2:06 left. And Thomas, who's the team's best free throw shooter at 79%, misses the first attempt. Sharon Miller in. Taylor Howard will check out. Miller has to be careful as to not pick up that 4th personal foul anytime soon. Next free throw by Thomas. That's good. She makes 1 of 2. And LIU, who only put up 2 free throw attempts in the first half, is now 4 for 8 free throw shooting here in the quarter. Inside of 2 minutes left to go, 8-point Lopes lead. They have the ball. Pieta around a Miller screen, springs free, goes to the hoop with the left hand, but it rolls off the front of the iron, not good. Tough break for the Lopes point guard. Montaigne, stop and pop, 8-footer short. Rebound belongs to Sharon Miller. Akula, Miller, Caldwell, Pieta, and Balagay. The 5 on the floor wearing purple for Nicole Powell. Low scoring affair, but GCU has led nearly the whole way. Caldwell for Akula. Looks, fires, 3! Akula continues to heat up here in this third quarter. In fact, the Lopes have converted 4 field goal attempts in the quarter, and Akula has 3 of them, all from behind the arc. And it's a 40-29 edge. Lob over the top for Thomas. She'll put it up over Balagay, won't go. Balagay looking at official Clark Stevens saying, what'd I do? But Stevens says you got her with a body. And Balagay joins Miller at the 3-foul plateau. Thomas, who averages nearly 15 points a game on the season, goes to the line and makes the first free throw. She now has 8 points with 61 seconds left to go before the end of the third. Next free throw, that's short. Lopes are able to box out. Goes out of bounds, though, and last touch by GCU. Then Laveris will check in to give Akula a breather. And Akula with 9 points all in this third period. Quick inbound, and Richards with an open look from 3 and got it. Defensive breakdown. GCU wasn't quite sure, and Richards able to spring free. And her first attempt brings it back to a 7-point GCU edge. Final 45 seconds of the quarter. Miller moving across the lane. She'll put it up off the glass. It won't go. And boxing out for the defensive board is Thomas. Lead pass. Can Weesey get to it? No. Montaigne trying to use the transition and just led Weesey a little bit too much. Turnover, LIU. 4.5 seconds difference between the shot clock and the game clock. And Nicole Powell saying, let's slow it down and use as much as we can to allow to Pieta, her point guard. Right now, Montaigne content not to challenge Pieta. And Powell saying, wait. Shot clock at 10, game clock at 14. Now they start to move. Balagay hands off to Caldwell. Now for Pieta, around a screen, 12-footer, off the back of the iron, not good. 6 seconds to go. Here come the Blackbirds. Weesey for Richards, square and fire, another long 3. That one won't go at the buzzer. So a good start to the second half for GCU, bolstered them. They built a 12-point lead, and they've got a 7-point cushion as we head to the final period of play. End of 3 here at the GCU Thanksgiving Showdown. It's Grand Canyon 40. Long Island University, Brooklyn 33. Keep it here for more coverage of Lopes women's basketball on GCU TV.
Curiosity fuels you. It helps you understand the world around you. It's your guide through life. So when you're ready for a fulfilling new career, let your curiosity fuel that change. Change is difficult, but Grand Canyon University's online degree programs in technology make it convenient for you to achieve your dream. While businesses are being transformed by artificial intelligence and analytics, GCU teaches you how to plan for innovation and make sense of the world. By applying that knowledge to today's most challenging problems and sharing your insights, you're helping to build a better tomorrow for you, your community, and your family. Find your purpose at GCU, where advanced technologies drive education. Private, Christian, affordable, nonprofit. Visit gcu.edu/online.
Handel's Messiah returns to GCU Arena for the 7th annual holiday tradition this coming Tuesday, November the 27th. Join Grand Canyon University's College of Fine Arts and Production as they celebrate the true meaning of Christmas. Tickets are on sale right now. Just go to gcuarena.com. Handel's Messiah, courtesy of GCU's College of Fine Arts and Production, this Tuesday, November 27th, right here at GCU Arena. Well, LIU Brooklyn continues to own the rebounding edge, 31-25, and 14 of those offensive rebounds. As a result, they've got 16 more shots than the Lopes, but they still have not been able to outshoot the Lopes. Lopes have 16 less attempts, 3 more makes, and as a result, they have a 40-33 edge. They have the ball to start the fourth quarter. Jim Howell hoping you're enjoying the final day of this Thanksgiving showdown here from GCU Arena. Taylor Caldwell resets, comes around to Sharon Miller's screen, springs free, goes to the hoop, scoops it in. And Caldwell has had a healthy living, feasting on that. 4 of her 5 field goal converts have been layups. And she's in double figures off the bench with 10. Back to a 9-point GCU edge. Here's Thomas, springs free, shot from 15, won't go. Miller had the rebound, and then Bell came over the top. Reached in to try and knock it away, but got part of the arm. First team foul on the Blackbirds. Still in the first minute of play here in the fourth quarter, and GCU trying to make the lead double digits once again. Lineup of Ven Lavera, Sharon Miller, Carla Balagay, Taylor Caldwell, and Kavita Akula. Miller on the left baseline. Waits for somebody to give it to. Here's Balagay at the high post. Lobs inside. Miller had it, but again, Bell going over the top. Instead of just getting all ball, got part of the arm, and very quickly, the backup forward has picked up her third. And just like that, the Cherry Hill, New Jersey native will check out of the lineup, along with Seneca Richards, Ella Vatanen, and Jada Johnson back in. Non-shooting foul. Veras looks to inbound. Gets it on the side for Miller, and it's knocked away. Goes off the knee of Sharon. Out of bounds, LIU basketball. LIU with a lineup of Vatanen, Johnson, Brandy Thomas, Tia Montaigne, and Ryan Weesey. So 4 of the 5 starters on the floor. Johnson with a no-look shot, collided hard with Caldwell, gets the shot to go, it'll count. And she'll have a chance with a 3-point play, and Caldwell wincing noticeably as she took a shot, it looks like, in the left eye. So Johnson, who's had a big second half, trying to add to it here and make it a 2-possession game with 8:42 left. Free throw, not good. But sneaking in is Thomas, gets the follow, that one won't go. And this time Miller grabs the defensive board with both hands. Offensive rebounds have kept LIU in it. Still a 7-point GCU edge. Akula springs out to get the ball. Wants Veras to run the baseline. Hands off for Caldwell. Still 10 seconds to get a shot up. Comes around a Miller's screen. Gives it for Miller. She'll square and fire for 14, from 14. No. Off the back of the iron. Johnson with a rebound. She wants to run. Off for Thomas. Thomas runs into Miller. Double team. Puts it up anyway. Gets it to go. And Thomas now will have a chance for a three-point play. And that foul is on Miller, and that's got to be a concern for Nicole Powell. That's 4. Still 8:05 left to go, fourth quarter. Thomas converts the three-point play. She's now in double figures with 11, and it's down to a 4-point GCU edge as Taylor Howard will check into the Lopes lineup. Miller will be out for at least a couple of minutes. So that'll swing Balagay to the center spot. And Caldwell now bringing up the ball. Caldwell moving from side to side out front, tried to pass it for Howard. Vatanen almost came up with a steal, but Howard came up with it, and now Howard had to lose her shoe and throws it to the bench. So right now, Howard with one shoe, one sock. Caldwell trying to get it inside. Thomas anticipated, and she makes the steal. Montaigne, long pass for Johnson. On the break for Vatanen. In stride, goes to the hoop and scores, and suddenly it's a 2-point basketball game. And I think Nicole Powell wants a timeout. She does. 7:22 left to go in the ball game. And LIU has come out firing in this fourth quarter. It's a 2-point game. 7:21 left. GCU 42 and LIU Brooklyn 40. Keep it here for more coverage on GCU TV.
Hi, I'm Brandy, and this is Ask GCU. Hi, I'm Brittany Holwyn, and you should watch Ask GCU,
where we answer your questions every week.
And the points don't matter. Wait, what?
Tune in every week for answers to be questioned.
Where we answer your questions in a common, all right.
I'm a professional manner. Tweet hashtag AskGCU to get your question featured.
One of the things that plagued the Lopes late in the game against Indiana State yesterday was not being able to take care of the basketball. And here in the first 2 minutes and 39 seconds of this fourth quarter, LIU has come up with 3 big steals, and they have 10 second chance points and 9 points off turnovers, and they have turned a 7-point deficit into just 2 in the first 2.5 minutes. So Nicole Powell, I'm sure, with some pointed words in the Lopes huddle, saying, let's take care of the basketball. Lopes still shooting 47% from the game. But it's the second shots that have kept the Blackbirds in it. They have 19 more shot attempts right now than the home team. Lada Pieta back in at point guard. Gives it in the corner. Akula's had the hot hand. The three-pointer this time won't go. And tipping for the rebound was Howard, fighting with Jada Johnson. Goes out of bounds, and they say it's GCU basketball. Nicole Powell going with a lineup of Pieta, Akula, Carla Balagay, Deja Daniel, and Taylor Howard. Here's Pieta moving across the lane, and she's bumped and fouled on the pass-off. That'll be on the point guard, Tia Montaigne. Quickly, 3 team fouls here in this first 3 minutes of play by LIU. Non-shooting foul, and Pieta with a fresh shot clock dribbles the ball out front. Dribbles away from traffic, give it to Balagay. Way out front. One bounce, back to Akula. Pieta calls out a set play as we're inside of 7 minutes. Pieta directing traffic. Shot clock at 10, now 9. Moves around a Daniel screen. Stop, and now throws it away. Akula was running the baseline and then scampered out front, but Pieta threw it over her head. So LIU comes down with a chance to tie. That hasn't happened since we were tied at 6 apiece. Here's Johnson. Takes the dribble to the left side, hands off for Weesey. Now Montaigne waiting for a screen, gets it. Keeps driving on Daniel, throws up the shot, roll around, won't go. Thomas takes the rebound away from 3 different Lopes and scores. And they say that she was fouled on the play, and suddenly LIU with a chance to take the lead. Thomas comes up holding her shoulder. Foul is on Carla Balagay. Check that, it was on Pieta. And the free throw is not good, we're still tied. Vatanen fought in to take the rebound away and almost was able to steal the board, lost it out of bounds. But LIU has opened this fourth quarter on a 9-2 run, and we are all even at 42. Fasten the seatbelts, another fantastic finish on the way, just like we had yesterday when the Lopes went to double overtime with Indiana State. Pieta straight away, drives on Montaigne, all the way to the hoop, she'll score. And oh, did the Lopes need that. First field goal of the night for Pieta, and it couldn't have come at a better time. 44-42, Lopes swing back out on top. Pieta wanted the steal, couldn't get it. Thomas outside the arc, and now Montaigne gets tangled up with Taylor Howard. Both go down, and the foul will be called on the Lopes redshirt freshman Taylor Howard. And we're not even to the midpoint of this quarter, and the Lopes are out of fouls. One more, and LIU will be in the bonus. Clark Stevens waiting for Brandy Thomas and Deja Daniel to quote-unquote behave themselves. And now we're ready. Quick inbound, and sneaking inside is Johnson, gets the ball and scores. Nice pass by Montaigne, and they ran the pick to perfection. And we're knotted up again, this time at 44. Pieta sneaks inside, short jumper, won't go. Rebound to Weesey. Weesey with Pieta on her hip, down the right side. Vatanen, hook pass, and Thomas had it and then fumbled it out of bounds. Lopes get a break. Pieta starting to get more involved in the offense. I'm sure that's not by accident. Lauda, who normally averages nearly a dozen a game. Here's Akula dribbling away from the double team. Gives it for Pieta in the corner. Pieta now drives the baseline, and she is knocked down hard. She and Montaigne got tangled up. Shot didn't go. And the Lopes teammates tend to their fallen point guard, who comes up shaking her left hand. Fouls on Montaigne. That is 3 personals on her, and both teams are now out of fouls. Pieta fouled in the act of shooting, will head to the line. And the first free throw is not good, and she comes up holding that left wrist. And considering how shorthanded the Lopes have been in the first 4 games plus of the season, that cannot be a welcome sight for head coach Nicole Powell. So Pieta, the southpaw, will give it another try to break this tie with 5:01 left. Free throw, not good. And LIU with the basketball. We see Vatanen, Bell, Montaigne, and Jada Johnson. Thomas out of the lineup for the moment. Here's Johnson, who's the second leading scorer on the squad. Out for Weesey. Past the midpoint of this quarter. Johnson outside the arc, now for Montaigne. Shot clock at 10. Montaigne around a screen, covered by Balagay, and a switch. Keeps coming. Forces up the shot, gets it to go. It'll count, and she's fouled. And Balagay now charged with her 4th personal. And Montaigne had virtually no angle to get that shot up, somehow was able to get it to go. And LIU has the lead for the second time this afternoon. The first time back at 2-0. Montaigne capitalizes on the three-point play with her first free throw of the day. And it's LIU 47, GCU 44. Lopes trying to snap this three-game losing skid, and they've led pretty much the whole way, but now playing from behind with 4:20 left. Caldwell calls out a set play. Caldwell running the point now with Pieta on the bench. Caldwell drives around Vatanen, shot clock at 4, shot from 12, won't go. Bell with a rebound. Lopes having trouble getting good looks. Akula went for the steal, almost came up with it. Now she's got to scramble back defensively. Vatanen running the baseline, reverse layup won't go. Daniel with a rebound, and Bell picks up the loose ball foul. And that's big because both teams now over the team foul limit. So both teams will make the long trip down to the Lopes free throw line. And that is 4 personal fouls on Bell. Daniel to the line for the first time this afternoon, and these are big ones. First one not good. Quick breather for Brandy Thomas on the LIU bench. She'll check back in, the team's leading scorer. And Daniel trying to salvage one of the two, and does at the Lopes free throw line. 47-45. GCU now trailing inside of 4 minutes. Still a lot of basketball left to be played. Montaigne covered by Caldwell out front. Comes around a Vatanen screen. Stop the dribble. Gives it for Johnson. Johnson with 14 on the shot clock. Waits for a Vatanen screen. Johnson inching through. Gives it out for Weesey. Shot clock at 5, now 4. Montaigne sees it. Drives all the way in. Reverse layup is good. LIU involuntarily spreading the floor, and that left a lane for Montaigne to travel. 4-point LIU lead, and time slowly becoming a factor. Low block pass is a beauty. Howard able to find Daniel, and she'll score. And that's the kind of offensive execution GCU needs down the stretch. The lead is 2. Montaigne stops the dribble, waits for someone to pass it to. Inside pass, not a good one. Balagay alertly stepped in the passing lane, made the steal. Now the Lopes can tie with 2:40 left. And Caldwell will get it across the line, and Nicole Powell wants to talk about it. Fasten the seat belts for this one. 2:38 left to go. We got a thriller at GCU Arena. It's LIU Brooklyn 49. GCU 47 right here on GCU TV.
Into the net, destiny fulfilled. CSU Bakersfield wins the WAC Tournament Championship.
I don't know if this is a dream or real life, but we did it. We won the WAC championship. It's great.
LIU had not scored more than 15 points in any of the first 3 quarters. They have 16 here in the first 7 minutes plus of the 4th quarter. And they've taken the lead on the Lopes, but GCU with a chance to tie here. 12 on the shot clock. Caldwell start to drive, draw the defense. Kick for Akula for 3, won't go. Daniel swoops in, gets the board, and then she's tied up. Daniel taking exception to Montaigne grabbing the ball. Possession arrow favors LIU, so they will get the ball with 2:21 left. Daniel will check out, Balagay back in. Nicole Powell going with a lineup of Taylor Howard, Taylor Caldwell, Kavita Akula, Carla Balagay, and Sharon Miller. So both Veras and Pieta on the bench. Here is Thomas on the baseline, looks inside, gets it to the cutting Johnson. She'll fake, she'll shoot, she will score. She had 2 different sets of hands in her face. 2 minutes to go. LIU by 4. Akula comes out to get the basketball. They don't need a 3 yet. Here's Balagay, lob in for Miller. Miller with good post position and takes advantage of it. Her first score of the fourth quarter. Big hoop for Miller, 51-49. Lopes trail. Now they've got to put the clamps on defensively. Thomas holding the ball way out front. Gets it for Johnson. Waits for his screen, gets it, uses it, gives it back to Thomas on the pick and roll. She'll stop, shoot it from 8, won't go. Miller fighting for the rebound, and she tips it to her teammate Carla Balagay. Great play by Miller on both sides of the floor. Now the Lopes with a chance to tie with 75 seconds left. Caldwell stops, give it to Miller on the high post. Turn around, faces the hoop. Puts the ball on the floor, handout for Caldwell. Caldwell saw an open lane but couldn't get there. Instead has to scramble to get the ball. And then as Akula got it in for Miller away from the ball, Nicole Powell right there next to Clark Stevens, the lead official, calls a 30-second timeout. So we will keep it here to set the stage. 58.9 seconds remaining. LIU, who hadn't led since it was 2-0, but used a 16-5 run to start this quarter to take the lead, has a 51-49 edge. And the Lopes are going to have the ball with a chance to tie, but have only 7 seconds on the shot clock. Hope you've enjoyed this one. It's been a defensive struggle the whole way. Both of these teams trying to snap losing streaks. And let's see what Nicole Powell has diagrammed in the Lopes huddle. Same lineup, Akula, Balagay, Miller, Caldwell, and the lady will inbound it on the side, Taylor Howard. Does so to Caldwell. Shot clock at 5, now 4. Caldwell, stutter step, she'll drive, puts up the shot off the glass and gets it. Caldwell biding her time and gets it to go. We're tied at 51. 52 seconds left to go. And a timeout will be called by Stephanie Del Priore, the 4-year head coach of LIU. And I think the referees are going to go to the scorer's table to see what the timeout situation is. So we will keep it here. 52 seconds left. And they have not put that last bucket up. Now they do finally put it on the scoreboard. There was apparently some confusion, I think, as to whether or not the shot had gone up before the shot clock expired. But give it to Caldwell. And LIU will inbound at full court. With a lineup of Vatanen, Weesey, Johnson, Montaigne, and Brandy Thomas. Montaigne into the forecourt. Picked up at the three-point line by Caldwell. Here's Weesey. Weesey waiting for Johnson to come to the arc to get the ball. 17 on the shot clock, 37 left in the game. Montaigne waits for the screen, comes to the left side, tried to split the defense, has to get rid of it to Weesey. She'll fire a three and get it. Ryan Weesey's second field goal attempt of the game, and both of them from 3. Shot clock is off, LIU up by 3. And now Nicole Powell will burn her final timeout as she stamps her foot on the court in frustration as Montaigne drove around the double team and just got rid of it to Weesey as GCU's defense sagged, but Weesey able to bury the tray and got an open look. So now you look at, with 22.7 seconds remaining, who are the three-point shooters for GCU? Well, that answer, for the most part, is Ven Laveris and Laura Pieta. The bad news about that is Pieta left the ball game at the 4-minute mark after landing underneath the basket on her left wrist, has not returned, and Ven Laveris has been on the bench for most of this fourth quarter. Who has three-pointers made today, you ask? Well, it has not been Veras or Pieta. It has been Kavita Akula. And all 9 points have come from three-point range, all of those coming in the third quarter. And Taylor Howard off the bench has a pair of trays. Those came in the first half. Both are in the ball game, and Howard will be the one to inbound. Does so to Caldwell. Lopes looking for a good shot. Down to 17, now 16. Here's Akula, straight away, three! Akula with ice in her veins, ties the score at 54. Timeout, Brooklyn. It was a design play, and it worked to perfection as they were able to spring free Akula out of the double screen at the free throw line. And Akula, even though she had a bit of a hand in her face, nailed it from straight away. And we're knotted up at 54, and in a similar situation as we were a day ago. So now LIU, who has 2 timeouts left, make that 1 timeout, I believe, after this, will get the ball with 12.3 on the clock. Powell will send out Caldwell, Akula, Howard, Balagay, and Miller for her defensive alignment. Stephanie Del Priore, the head coach for LIU, sends out Jada Johnson, Tia Montaigne, Brandy Thomas, Ryan Weesey, and Ella Vatanen. Thomas will inbound it in backcourt, and GCU will back up defensively. Montaigne to the left side, hands off for Johnson, runs into Balagay, but it's retrieved. Give it to Vatanen, and she travels with the basketball as she tried to set up for the three-point shot. Turnover LIU, and GCU with 3.6 seconds left has a chance to win it. Akula will trade places as Balagay will inbound it right in front of our courtside location. GCU out of timeouts. Balagay to Caldwell, streaking down the right side. 2 seconds, 1 second. She will put it up. It won't go. I don't think she got it up in time. And for the second straight day, we will go extras. Overtime here at GCU Arena between these two teams. Who's going to get their first win of the showdown? We hope you'll stick around to find out. End of regulation. Here at the GCU Thanksgiving Showdown, it's LIU Brooklyn 54, your Lopes 54, right here on GCU TV.
As a teacher, your calling was always to make a difference and positively impact the future. You live with a deep sense of purpose and strive to inspire generations of change. GCU's online Masters of Education degree program gives you the skills you need to grow and develop your career, while also making sure you have time for yourself and your family. Today, you can learn anywhere and anytime, giving kids a look into the technological advances that pushed you forward. Being strong and compassionate makes you a role model through this formative period in their lives. You're not just inspiring future generations of leaders and innovators to reach for their dreams. You're giving them the tools they need to achieve them.
Find your purpose at GCU, where advanced technologies drive education. Private, Christian, affordable, nonprofit. Visit gcu.edu/online.
We have been the experts in clean since 1945. We help businesses keep their facilities cleaner, healthier, greener, and safer. We are passionate about what we do and are committed to making your workplace environment the cleanest and healthiest it can be.
Jim Howe back here at GCU Arena. Let's do it again. Second straight day that the Lopes will go to overtime against their opponents. Lost in double OT yesterday to Indiana State, and now tied at 54, ready to go to overtime number 1 against Long Island University Brooklyn. Carla Balagay jumping center with Ella Vatanen, and it's controlled by the Blackbirds, who will continue to move from left to right across your GCU TV screen. Thomas got Miller up in the air but took the extra step and called for traveling, and Miller applauding as she was able to force the turnover. That is only the 10th turnover on Brooklyn today. GCU with 15. So now the Lopes can take their first lead in a while with their first offensive possession of OT. Caldwell's been a force here in this second half. She'll drive, kick across, open look in the corner. Howard for three, not good. Comes down to Caldwell, one bounce, put it up. That one won't go. Tip up, Howard's got it. She'll bring it back out. Fresh 30 on the shot clock, and Nicole Powell says, let's reset. Offensive rebounds have been a story all day, but not for GCU. That was their 4th and 5th offensive board of the afternoon, but they will gladly take it. Caldwell tried to get it from Miller, and Vatanen stepped in front to make the steal. 1 minute gone by in overtime. Each team comes up empty in their initial offensive set. Montaigne, the lob for Vatanen. Go to the hoop, off the glass and in. Ella Vatanen with her 3rd field goal of the day. And LIU swings back out on top, 56-54. Largest lead for LIU, 4. That was late in the 4th quarter. Largest lead for the Lopes, 12, midway through the 3rd. Caldwell yo-yoing the ball out front. 10 on the shot clock. Comes around a Miller screen, now goes away from it, puts it up off the glass. That one won't go. Rebound comes down to Brandy Thomas. Thomas will slow it up. Nearly 2 minutes elapsed here in overtime. Lopes looking for their first points. Putting on the clamps defensively to try and avoid making it go to a 2-possession game. Thomas drive on Balagay, scoops it for Vatanen, who goes in and scoops it up off the glass. Back-to-back hoops for the Finland native, and it's 58-54. Lopes fans here at GCU Arena exhorting their charges. Howard out front, straight away for Caldwell. Caldwell moves to the right side with a dribble, stops, back to the basket, 6 on the shot clock, in for Miller. Moves underneath Vatanen, somehow able to put it up and in. Miller had no angle, but it didn't matter. Sharon in double figures with 11. 58-56, LIU with the lead in the basketball. 2:20 to go in this overtime thriller. Hope you're enjoying it. Weesey comes out to get the ball. Howard with a defensive assignment on her. Here's Thomas. She'll shoot over Miller from 14 and get it. Brandy Thomas now right on her season scoring average of 15. 2 minutes left. And again, the Lopes playing from behind. Balagay out to get the ball on the high post. Here's Miller. Miller wants Balagay to go inside. Hands off for Caldwell. Caldwell goes right, now left, off for Akula. Quick pass inside for Miller. Vatanen trying to go over the top to knock it away. Does so, but gets part of the body. And both teams, since the fouls don't reset, are over the team foul limit. So Sharon Miller will head to the line. She is 3 out of 4 from the stripe this afternoon. Minute 41 left to go in overtime. And the Lopes up signs all over GCU Arena as she buries the first. Laura Pieta is going to check into the Lopes lineup for the first time since going down on that left wrist. So apparently she's okay as Taylor Howard will sit down. Miller to try and make it a 2-point ball game. Free throw. Good. Miller now leading the way in scoring with 13 and another balanced Lopes offensive effort. 3 different players in double figures. Lopes trail by 2. Minute and a half left to go in overtime. Johnson being covered closely by Taylor Caldwell. Waiting for a screen. Comes around it. She'll fire a 16-footer and get it. Johnson with 20 points to lead the way. And again, it's a 2-possession game. And the Lopes can't afford to trade hoops much longer. Caldwell outside the right arc. Straight away, here's Balagay. Thought about passing it inside, and as she fought through a double team, is hacked and fouled on the pass off. That'll be on Thomas. That's her second. Again in the bonus. Balagay to the line for the first time today. Carla's first free throw somehow falls off the rim. That ball took forever to make a decision. Still with a chance to make it a one-possession game. Second free throw's good. 62-59, and now the Lopes have to have a stop. We're inside of a minute. LIU trying to break through in the win column for the first time in 2018-2019. Steal out front. Pierre anticipates. Comes down with Montaigne to beat, and Montaigne will knock her down hard. Blocks the shot. Pieta still slow to get up. And apparently no foul called. And Pieta comes up rubbing her head. But no harm, no foul. 45.7 seconds to go. They'll inbound to Pieta. Pieta comes around Vatanen. Stutter step, give it to Balagay. Balagay, low block, here's Miller, backing in on Vatanen. She'll go to the hoop, she'll force it up and in. Big hoop for Balagay, 1-point game. Full court defensive pressure, 35 seconds to go. Montaigne will bring it across the time stripe. 4 seconds difference, shot clock and game clock. Goes back to the backcourt. Thomas able to save. And now Thomas, a whistle. And now they're going to call a 10-second violation. They did not get it across midcourt. Nicole Powell was screaming for that. And now the Lopes have a chance to win it. 24.3 seconds left. The LIU players continuing to argue their case. And now the Blackbirds, I think, are going to call a timeout. We'll keep it here as the three officials, Clark Stevens, Kimberly Hobbs, and Dion Lewis, conferring. Montaigne was on her way to midcourt, but the ball knocked away. And after a conference, the officials decided it never fully crossed the half-court line. Nicole Powell is going to get Taylor Howard into the lineup. And I don't know if the referees are still conferring to make sure that they're right. But nevertheless, Stephanie Del Priori barking out defensive instructions to her charges, and Nicole Powell in the huddle diagramming an offensive play that she hopes will snap the three-game losing streak for GCU. And the referees apparently confident in their decision. Del Priori and her coaching staff still protesting the call. Tim Gardner, the lead assistant, vehement that it crossed midcourt, but they're not going to win the argument. Caldwell, Pieta, Howard, Miller, and Kavita Akula, the five on the floor for Nicole Powell. Here we go. Pieta with the ball. 20 seconds left to go in the overtime. Pieta with the spin. She'll stop and loses the ball, but she's bumped and fouled as Pieta slow to get up, and she has been in the school of hard knocks for the fourth quarter and overtime. Will head to the free throw line. Fouled on the play by Montaigne. That is 4 on the LIU point guard. And Pieta, who is 1 for 4 from the free throw line tonight, needs a pair to give GCU the lead. The first one is good, and it took forever again to decide. That ball hung on the front of the rim. Balagay inserted into the lineup. Howard will sit down. This one for the lead. Not good. And Thomas will come down with a rebound, and LIU will immediately call a timeout. We'll step aside. 16 seconds left to go in overtime. 62 apiece. GCU and LIU Brooklyn. Keep it here for more exciting coverage on GCU TV.
You use the latest technology to treat patients, but your care and compassion is timeless. And as an RN, you delight in sharing it. But there's always room to grow. Advancing your career means helping more patients and providing even more care. Grand Canyon University's online programs in nursing make it convenient for you to become the expert every patient deserves. Healthcare has made significant advancements, and GCU teaches you how to prepare for the future. By applying that knowledge, you're able to stay up to date with the latest medical technologies. And since GCU's nursing programs are online, you can access your program from anywhere, so you're always there for those most important.
Find your purpose at GCU, where advanced technologies drive education. Private, Christian, affordable, nonprofit. Visit gcu.edu/online.
Well, coming into this tournament, GCU had not had any kind of a game that was this close. The closest margin of victory or defeat was 12 points. But they have gone double overtime yesterday to Indiana State. And now with 16 seconds left to go in overtime number 1, they are tied with LIU Brooklyn, and the Blackbirds have the ball. Weesey has to hurry to get it in bounds, and finally does to Montaigne to beat the 5-second call. 12 seconds to go. Here's Thomas. Drive on Miller. Has it knocked away. Ball trickles out of bounds. Lopes basketball. Now Clark Stevens underneath said it's Lopes basketball. Kimberly Hobbs came over to confer, and they will indeed confirm the Lopes are going to have the ball as Nicole Powell calls her final timeout. 7.4 seconds remaining, and credit the sticky hands of GCU's defense to force that turnover as Thomas had the drive, and I believe it may have been Carla Balagay that came over from the weak side and knocked it off of Thomas as the ball trickled out of bounds. Remember, both teams out of fouls. And even though the Lopes have struggled from the line for most of the game today, they were 5 of 10 during regulation. They have been 4 for 6 from the free throw line here in overtime. And Clark Stevens just confirmed, after conferring with the scorer's table, that it is indeed GCU possession. And now there's going to be another 30-second timeout, so we'll step aside quickly. 62 apiece. Don't go away right here on GCU TV.
The dream or real life, but we did it. We won the MAC championship. It's great.
Feel the thunder in the heart of Phoenix. GCULopes.com.
Lopes with the ball, chance to win it. Miller with the drive, puts up the shot, no, gets her own rebound, follows, and she's tied up with 1.9 seconds remaining, and the possession arrow will give it back to the Lopes. Tied at 62. So the Lopes will have time for a quick inbound and a shot. Caldwell looking, waiting, gets it to Pieta, fires a three! And the 3-game losing streak is gone! Lauda Pieta! Bad wrist and all! Backed up behind the stripe and calmly drained only her second field goal of the day and gives the Lopes a stunning come-from-behind overtime victory. The referees go over to confirm. It's confirmed. GCU with their second victory of 2018-2019, and what a way to do it. So the Lopes win it by 3. split their 2 games in exciting fashion here at GCU Arena and now get set to go back out on the road. They'll take their 2 and 3 mark to Santa Barbara, California next Sunday afternoon, December the 2nd. They'll take on the Gauchos of UCSB at 3 p.m., their next home game here at GCU Arena, and you won't want to miss this kind of excitement. Will be in 2 weeks, Friday night, December the 7th. They'll take on the Grizzlies of the University of Montana, and a 6 p.m. tip-off for Nicole Powell and the Lopes. I want to remind you, for men's basketball, they will look for their first win at the Wooden Classic in Fullerton, California tomorrow night. They'll take on LaSalle University in a Sunday night 6 p.m. tilt. You can catch that game on 1580 The Fanatic right here in the Phoenix area, courtesy of the radio voice of the Lopes, Michael Potter. Their next home game right here at GCU Arena a week from tonight, Saturday night, December the 1st, as we'll bring up the lights between the Lopes and Boise State. If you can't be here in person, you can join us right here on GCU TV, as well as 1580 The Fanatic. Again, that's a week from tonight, Saturday, December the 1st. Want to remind you, you can follow Grand Canyon University on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/GCU. Hope you've enjoyed the last 2 days. So until we talk to you next week, right back here at GCU Arena for men's basketball, this is Jim Howell speaking to you from Grand Canyon University Arena on the beautiful GCU campus in the heart of Phoenix, reminding you the final score again in an overtime thriller. The Grand Canyon University Lopes 65, the LIU Brooklyn Blackbirds 62. Have a great afternoon, everybody, and go Lopes.